Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kennedy Compound. I'm your host, Mark Kennedy, and this is Bold Predictions. We're into week 3 of the SEC football season, and I have got your scores right here. We're going to give them to you tonight. I'm going to tell you who's going to win, who's going to lose, and by how much. We give you the scores, these things. So before we get started, I would point out that we do have sponsors for this. Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin have been into it, so we are sponsored by Coke Zero. And if you've been watching some of these football games, like Florida and Auburn and some of the other, we're also sponsored by Bourbon because if you're a fan, you might need this. And if you know what you're doing, you can be sponsored by both if you know what I'm saying. Woohoo! So anyway, getting into this real quickly, we got where everybody's playing this week. Got some interconference games. Got a couple outside the conference. It's going to be interesting. And it's a good slate of football. So let's go jump right into this and see what we come up with. Number 4. Maybe get there. I scroll back. Sorry. In case you're wondering if you see me fighting, I guess. I have decent eyesight, but trying to read up close, I need readers. And if you'll see that, that's a glare. So no, we're going to fly blind. So good luck with that, Mark. Game number 1, number 4, Alabama at Wisconsin. Alabama, you looked not so good for most of that game last week. At the end, you flexed some muscle. Anybody who saw the score at the end of the game or like caught it that night or next day, like, oh, Alabama killed someone. Not exactly. I mean, South Florida had their chances to win that thing late in the game, no less. This is one of those things that Alabama does not need to go on the road and do. Wisconsin, historically speaking, not the greatest of teams, but they're not one of the worst either. They are, however, Phil Long goes up there. He put a new offense in, and if you don't know who he is, he's a run-and-shoot guy. It's important to know because for the last 700 years, even before football was invented, Wisconsin was a ground-and-pound, run-the-ball team. So they're transitioning, and I don't know how well that's going over. I don't think it's going to go over very well in this game against Alabama. So my bold prediction, I've got Alabama 38, Wisconsin 17. I think Wisconsin's going to hang them for a little while maybe. You know, you're playing at home, but they just ain't got the guns. I'm sorry. Bama's got this. Next up, this is your second 11 o'clock game. Why do they have these two games 11? ESPN, you really should explain yourself. I don't understand. Number 16, LSU at South Carolina. Now, last week, South Carolina they slapped Kentucky around. I mean, they really made Kentucky look bad. Statistically, they didn't just overwhelm them, but scoreboard, it was ugly. It's like, and they played this game at Kentucky. Now they're at home, and they got LSU coming in. LSU has been struggling against the run. I think they had McNeese State last week and gave up a lot of rushing yards at home to McNeese State. South Carolina's got a running quarterback, and they've got Rocket Sanders, and they're both sitting there just like watching that game film like, oh, boy, I cannot wait. So I don't know. How's it going to turn out? Well, I think it's going to be close, extremely close. And this is going to be this is bold predictions, right? So we're going bold here. My bold prediction is South Carolina 28, LSU 27. I think it's going to be an extremely tough game. And I've got South Carolina in the upset. This is an upset. Is LSU a better team? I really can't think so. But playing them at home, I'm telling you, this could be it. And if LSU loses this game, the Bayou is not going to be a happy place. I'm just saying. Next up, you have number 24, Boston College, at number 6, Missouri. Now, Missouri, their offense is not overwhelming. I ain't saying it's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad. Their defense is great. And that alone will keep in a lot of games and win games for them. And the offense is good enough that it'll win some. Boston College is actually pretty good. They are ranked 24th, and what I've seen of them, they're a solid team. But I don't think they're solid enough to go into Missouri and beat them. Now, Missouri's defense is going to slow them down. But I think Boston College is going to get a little bit on them. It's going to be a good game. But I just cannot see Boston College going up there and beating Missouri at Mizzou, I should say. My bold prediction, I got Missouri 28, Boston College 17. It'll be a decent game, but when it's over, you'll know who the better team was. There won't be a fluke here. Now, the first of your 2:30 games, you've got Tulane at number 15, Oklahoma. Oklahoma struggled last week at home against Houston, and they should have slapped Houston around. I had them blowing Houston out pretty bad, about 25 points or so. They didn't do it. They had to eke out a win. Tulane is not a pushover. And I'm going to tell you, I come yay close to calling the upset here. Oklahoma, this is your first year in the SEC. I'm trying to give you a little something here, Don't let me down. Don't do a Florida to me. My bold prediction, I got Oklahoma 24, Tulane 21. Be a good game, close game, tight game. I think Oklahoma's going to eke it out. At home, they should beat them. But if they lose this game, I'm not going to come and say, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. It won't surprise me. Oklahoma, better have your ducks in a row. Oh, wait, you're not Oregon. Anyway, they suck too. Next up, the other 2:30 game, Texas A&M at Florida. A&M is Connor Wegman is not looking sharp at quarterback. That's not saying that they're horrible. They're not a horrible offense, but they're not world beaters either. Their defense is stout, and the defense will keep them in games, probably win them some games. Florida, Billy Napier, you have a quarterback controversy. First week, his starting quarterback, fifth-year senior, gets a concussion, get blown out of the game. He knocks out of the game late. Second game, they put their I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. It drives me crazy here. I thought I had it written down here. Anyway, so he brings in his freshman quarterback, who was the highest rated quarterback in the country last year as a freshman coming out of high school. Number one high school quarterback. Who throws like 400 yards. Congratulations, you have a quarterback controversy. So Napier is probably going to bring his senior out this week, who's ready to go. They've both been practicing. They both look good. They both know the offense. He said all the words. So what are you going to get? And who's going to show? Is the senior going to step it up, play some ball? Graham Mertz, excuse me. I cannot remember the freshman's name. Sorry about that, folks. I think there's enough confusion and stuff down there, and A&M's defense is just too stout. I think you're going to see a bold prediction, Texas A&M 24, Florida 7. I think Florida, they may get something rolling. If they score 14, it won't shock me. But I think there's just too much confusion right now, and they don't have their leader. They got to have their leader before they can move forward. So, sorry, folks. I don't think you're going to beat the Aggies. Not in the swamp. Next up, we have UAB at Arkansas. This is a 3:15 game, and Arkansas is, I've said this about them before. They're the best, worst team in the entire country. I mean, they've done this kind of thing before. They statistically beat the daylights out of Arizona State. They did everything in the world to lose a game. Actually, Arizona State did too, but ultimately, Arkansas was better at losing. Home field advantage probably had a lot to do with that, travel and whatnot. But Arkansas, what I'm trying to go with this is they're not a bad team. They've got to learn how to win. And I think they've got the tools in place to do this. Defense needs some help. Offense looks pretty good. And against UAB, well, Arkansas, your defense will be fine there. My bold prediction, I got Arkansas 45, UAB 6. They're going to a little vent up frustration, pin it up. They're gonna open up on there. So I expect a pretty clear-cut Arkansas comfortable win. Next up, we have the 5:30 game. Ole Miss, number 5 Ole Miss. Number 5 Ole Miss. Okay, I'm a homer. Number 5 Ole Miss. Anyway, they're going to Wake Forest. This is going to be probably the first real game they played this year. You ever played a video game? You start on that first level, like you just like sit there and talk to someone. You're sitting there talking, and I just won the game. Well, you play the second level, and like you look over every now and then, and you're playing, but you win the second level. Well, you move up to the third level. Now you got to pay a little attention. So that Ole Miss is literally in video game mode right now. Each level they go up, competition gets a little stronger. Wake Forest is not going to be just extreme competition, but it's going to be a little tougher. So this is one of the things where you got to start paying a little bit of attention to your detail here. how good is Ole Miss? I mean, they've scored like 1 trillion points and given up 3 points against nobody. And as an Ole Miss fan, I'm always terrified. I don't even care who they're playing. I'm always terrified every game. Like, oh gosh, what could go wrong? I don't think a lot's going to go wrong here. I think they're actually going to go up there, and I've got them. If you talk, I will watch videos about the Vegas spreads, how much there's like a 23 point or 17 point or 40 point or 3 point game. I don't even pay much attention to that. I mean, I base my predictions on certain things, which I'm not going to talk about what they are because I don't want to reveal my sources, but I do base my predictions on a certain criteria. And I think Ole Miss's criteria is going to run all over Wake Forest. There was a comment that their coach said this past week. Said that often in the game, their secondary looked confused. You do not want to look confused against Trey Harris and Juice Wells and Prescorn. You look confused against them, they'll confuse you with about 5 or 6 touchdowns. My bold predictions: Ole Miss 45, Wake Forest 10. Next up is the 6 o'clock game. This is USTS, University of Texas San Antonio. It's the illegitimate stepchild of Texas, who they are playing. Texas is currently number 2. I forgot to put it on here, but I have the notes here, like how they're ranked. Texas is number 2. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is family. Why would you do this to your family? Texas don't care. They're kind of like Ole Miss at this point. They got a really, really good. Ewers is a really good quarterback, and you got to get him some Heisman Trophy numbers. Jackson Dart, he's getting fed to him. You need to do some of that yourself. So I think they're going to. So my bold prediction is going to be Texas 49, University of Texas San Antonio 10. And they might not get that 10. We'll see. I'm being generous. I'm saying they're going to have take a little pity on their little stepchild. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. This is a 6 o'clock game, and it's going to get ugly. Next game at 6 o'clock. And by the way, when I picked this bold prediction, I had not realized that Vanderbilt was going to be on the road at Georgia State. And then I realized it ain't going to matter. So anyway, Vandy is playing inspired football this year. They got a real good quarterback. I'm telling you, if you get the opportunity to watch a Vandy game, you need to see this quarterback play. He is just insane. When the ball snapped and it's in his hands, the dude can improvise. And I referred to him last week as Johnny Manziel light. He makes things happen, and all quarterbacks do. No, not like this. He can get into a situation, and you're like, they got him, and you're like, oh wait, how did he do that? So the guy's good. Diego Pavia, you need to check him out. He's really good. And he is so good that my bold prediction is Vanderbilt is going to go on the road and win 35-10 over Georgia State. So there you have it, folks. I'm predicting good stuff for them. So please, Vandy, good stuff. Anyway, so next up, our 6:30 game, number 1 Georgia at Kentucky. Now Kentucky, folks, if you watched that Kentucky game last week, that was horrible. It was horrible. I don't know if Kentucky's going to rebound this week. I would think just out of sheer embarrassment, Kentucky would play better this week. They better, because Georgia is going to kill them. Anyway, Georgia, I don't think they're going to put 1 billion points on them. I don't think it's Kirby Smart's style. He's going to go on the road. He's going to play. He's going to play safe. He's going to grind the ball. He's going to eat clock. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. The game's going to be in hand. He'll play kids and stuff like that. Some of these coaches at SC have a level of respect. And, of course, I'm going to put Kiffin. I say, don't run the score, but I don't think he'll do that. My bold prediction, I've got Georgia 38, Kentucky 6. I mean, it's going to be a very handy win. Georgia's going to – there'll be no threat. But I don't think it's going to be just like a 70-0 kind of thing, So I guess we'll find out. Next up, New Mexico State at Auburn, 6:30. Anyway, we're picking an Auburn game here. Yeah, I needed that. So, okay. Auburn, there was no reason for you to lose that game last week. And I made a comment that, every year, Hugh Freeze has this thing. When he's at Ole Miss, he did this, like, what are you doing? He always loses a game he's not supposed to lose. I didn't think it was going to be California. Well, it was. Now, is he going to start a new trend of losing 2 games he shouldn't lose? There's some embarrassment there. I think he was very, very embarrassed. His quarterback, Peyton, he did not play very good. The week before, he looked great. Then last week, he just did not look great. So what are we going to get? Jekyll and Hyde? What are we going to get here? If they're smart, they're just going to hand the ball to somebody and say, just run until New Mexico can stop you. And I don't think they will. At home, I think Auburn 41-13, my bold prediction. I think they're going to get a little revenge here. I mean, you can't get revenge on the team last week, obviously, but you can take it out on somebody. And New Mexico, sorry, Lobos, you're in trouble. Next up is Toledo at Mississippi State, 6:30 game. State, your issue at the moment is going to be defense. Y'all gave up a ton, and I mean a ton, of rushing yards last week. Now, the one thing about that game that I came out because I told everybody I turned it off at halftime. I can't watch this. I feel violated, so I had to go crawl in the shower, scrub down, and go crawl in the fetal position to bed after watching that. And then State come back and actually made a game out of it. So they got some fight in them, and that's good. A team could have folded up in that situation, and they didn't. And that shows me that that's a good sign. That's a very good sign. And it also shows the coaching and everything. And I have confidence here. So you got Toledo rolling into the junction down there, and Duty Noble Stadium. I really think State is going to have a game. I just call it a hunch here, I guess. It's just bold prediction. Well, let's call it a bold prediction. Let's call it that. I got Mississippi State 42 over Toledo 14, 42-14. I just feel like they're gonna vent. They're due this. They may give up some more points than that. 17, even a 21-42 might not shock me, but I just got a feeling here. I don't know. Just call it what it is. So 42-14 Mississippi State. Let's see what happens. And my last state is Kent State at number 7, Tennessee. Well, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young wrote a song about a massacre many, many years ago on the campus where the National Guard shot some, I think it's 4 students during a protest. And, well, they're doing another massacre. I mean, sorry, it sounds ugly, but anyway, shouldn't make light of something like that, but this is going to get ugly. Once again, Kentucky, Tennessee, what do you want? Picking these games is horrible because, do I want to score 50? Do I want to score 60, 70? I don't know. We'll just score and score until I get tired of scoring. And that's how the Tennessee game is going to go. I've got Tennessee 56, Kent State 6. It could be anything they want it to be, but I think that's going to be pretty close. So we're going to see how this pans out. Anyway, that's all I've got here this week for bold predictions. If you're watching this, first off, I want everybody to like and subscribe to this and pass it on to share this with some folks. I want to get your input. I want to see what you think. If you're sitting here and say, what, you think South Carolina's going to beat LSU 28-27? You're nuts, buddy. Well, tell me about it. I mean, really, I'd like to hear what people think and say, because, I mean, that input's actually, it's cool, It's a discourse. That's what we call this on the internet. We have discourse. Of course, mine's correct and yours is wrong, but, no, just kidding. Anyway, but chime in, leave some comments, like this, share it, and subscribe to the channel. The more people who subscribe, the more people this will reach. It's an algorithm, and that's how that works. So get some people on here, and let's see. And like I said, don't be shy about putting your picks in the comments. I'd like to hear what you got to say about some of these games. Am I off on some of these? Maybe, probably, could be. I don't know. Let's find out. Anyway, thanks everyone for participating, and we'll catch y'all next week. Until then, play ball. We'll see you then.